Sharp increase in Moscow pneumonia cases fuels fears over government-reported coronavirus statistics. Only 6 people are infected, guys. We have an abundance of evidence as to why we should never trust authoritarian government numbers. They are getting pneumonia symptoms because they are infected with COVID-19. I don't trust any of the numbers being floated around. This is far more devastating than people can imagine. I have a feeling they, the authorities, are lying to us, said Anastasia Vasilyeva, head of Russia's Doctors Alliance trade union. Russian government and lying, name a more iconic duo. The government says its statistics are accurate, however, and President Vladimir Putin has complained that Russia is being targeted by fake news to sow panic. Project Much. The king of gaslighting and deception is complaining that no one believes him, and you wonder where the rump learned this shit. From the makers of the what radiation levels, we bring you nobody is really infected. Is there coronavirus stats for Russia? The Ministry of Truth is reporting that the Ministry of Health is doing just fine. Checks out. I have a feeling they, the authorities, are lying to us, said Anastasia Vasilyeva, head of Russia's. No, really? A country that lies about blowing up airliners is not to be trusted with statistics, lol. Edit. I'm not saying all other countries are all legit. Removed. Just quadruple whatever figures Moscow puts out. So Putin is using disinformation on his own people. What does the asshole figure will happen when the pneumonia rate goes up for the whole country? Actually, we have a similar situation in Ukraine. There were around 100 to 200 strange pneumonia cases in January. In western part of the country, where live the most people who go to other countries to earn money and then return on New Year, nobody noticed, no words from government about that. The number of cases of pneumonia, which can be caused by coronavirus, increased by 37% in Moscow year-on-year in January. So you are saying that in January Moscow alone had like 2,000 people infected with coronavirus? Did the whole Wuhan population migrate to Moscow or something? Italy had 0 cases of COVID-19 until February. Are you people assuming Russia is a more popular holiday destination for Chinese tourists than Italy? For everyone mentioning that Russia has a border with China, please, I beg you, go and try crossing this fucking border. It is pretty much impossible, and you would end up in bumfuck nowhere. I bet all the Chinese are dying to see Vladivostok, lol. Not to mention that Russia was the first country in Europe to stop all the travel from China. How many new cases of coronavirus? 10 today, but you only gave us 10 tests per day. 10 new cases, not great, not terrible. Russian government probably. I'm sure Russia's doing a terrible job of detecting and containing COVID-19, but the increase in pneumonia numbers reported in the article is from January, which is likely too early to be widespread COVID-19 outside of China. So this isn't trending there on Reddit. Oddly, we hear so many rightful concerns, especially about the UK, US and basically the whole approach of the Trump administration, what is just playing with fire at a fuel station, but also enough sounds like we going all to die and that science is like handicapped and comes up too late. COVID-19/corona is another thing Russia is using to disrupt the Western world by spreading fake news and using Russian propagandists, but it was a fact of time when Russia would be hit with the virus. I would feel sorry for all those normal Russians who would be hit, but I wouldn't cry a river at all if the Kremlin and the IRA would been hit with this virus. They trying to tell the people basically that COVID-19/corona couldn't hit Russia at all and is a Western conspiracy. Meanwhile, the Kremlin attacks especially Western countries in a time where we should fight against the virus instead of making it into a politically thing. Maybe I going to be downvoted for this. The Kremlin and its friends wouldn't like it to let you people read this. I don't care, because the only thing I care for is that scientists trying 24/7 to help us, that nurses and doctors trying to make people better and saving so much lives as possible, that people in the food sector gives us still a meal where we shouldn't cry about at all, and showing that prepping is unnecessary and egoistic. Now I wonder about the high-profile death they reported this week. Moscow, AP, the widow of Yuri Gagarin, the first human to fly to space, died Tuesday. She was 84. Russia's space agency Roscosmos announced Valentina Gagarina's death in a short statement, offering condolences to her relatives. It didn't give any details about the cause or circumstances of her death. What if Putin have made a conscious decision to let the elderly die with the goal of not disrupting the economy? Where will this put Russia when the whole thing is over? Every government that is unprepared for this is bullshitting their citizens for as long as possible to buy time and avoid panic. I really hope all their troll farms get hit hard with this. I was just thinking aloud today that I hadn't heard much from Russia yet and was curious why. This is a standard Soviet-style crisis management. I guess they realized that saying there are 0 cases would be pushing it, so they have decided to go for a lower hundreds number. That way the public can still believe in great omnipotent government able to resolve this small nuisance. Those who spread rumors will be easily separated from society and given an explanation by Secret Service. In the meantime, COVID-19 testing won't be done, and without tests, it actually looks like pneumonia. And if it looks like pneumonia, then it probably is pneumonia. Should some doctor be looking into this too much, he/she will be given, yes again, an explanation by Secret Service. I have to keep reminding myself to be empathetic. Whenever I feel like grinning because Russia, China, and Iran are getting slammed, I remember that it isn't the governments, but the regular citizens, people like you and me, who are the ones dying. Deleted. Yeah, I've been watching the Russian numbers for 10 days. They are pretty much BS. But that's just my unfounded opinion. Honestly, I feel it's the same here in the USA. 2 of my co-workers' fathers died last month from pneumonia. We live in a tourist town, there is no possible way it waited until March to get here. Russia, funny, we have a lot more cases of pneumonia than usual this year. Thank God coronavirus never got there, though. It doesn't add up. If the extra pneumonia numbers were actually coronavirus and it's been in Moscow since January, there would be a great deal of sick people by now, because there were no containing measures in Moscow up until maybe a week ago, and it would be free roaming for 2 months. There might be more people with coronavirus than officially reported, but the city isn't full of sick and coughing people. ATM. Wait, Russia is lying. The coronavirus isn't faintly interested in whether news is fake or real, or about the image of any leader's government. In US the people don't even go to the hospital or doctor because they can't afford it. Only cases of rich people are reported. But Muricans love to joke about Russia and their government. Guess propaganda is an essential job in both countries. LOL. I work in Russia. For the most part, the people I've met here are wonderful. But a minority do believe some wonderful bullshit. Only the other day I was assured that only criminals can catch the virus. I was also informed that Russia is the only country to vaccinate their children and therefore it's impossible for the virus to infect many people here. It's truly crazy shit. I'm a teacher and I now teach online, except classes who don't want online lessons, whom I continue regular lessons with. But generally, things are going at a pace on par with Europe. However, the low reported numbers are extremely suspicious and I expect the true peak will be a very difficult period, maybe 2 to 3 weeks from now.